Good morning, my friends. This is the Grimflare, and I hope you're all doing very well today. First order of business on this fine January morning is we have to say welcome to our brand new patron, MTG Rabbit D. MTG Rabbit D is our newest patron and an inquisitor, so thank you very much, my friend, for supporting the channel, and thank you, as always, to all of my patrons. I truly appreciate all of your support. So the second order of business is, I know everybody loves the league footage. We love playing leagues. We love watching leagues. I fired up MTGO this morning with the intention of doing a league, but I see that the season, or whatever you want to call it, the current leagues, they come to an end. This is Sunday morning. I'm recording this Wednesday night at midnight. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to have time to play 5 live league matches between now and then. Might sound crazy, but I'm very, very, very busy this time of year with work, and of course, always busy with family. So I do apologize for the lack of league matches for the next few days, but I don't want to start a league and not be able to finish it, because that would leave you guys hanging, and that would also kind of be a waste of ticks. So for that reason, we're just going to do another stroll through some Tourney practice lobby games. My previous video was the same thing. We played Nicholas Sanchez's list. Now we're going to play my most recent updated list. This is what you're looking at right here. If you haven't seen the deck tech, you can check that out. But just a couple minor changes from the one that we played to great success in the month of December. And yeah, let's see how it treats us. So we've got the right list, and let's get right into some games. I was all hyped up to play leagues. I actually was thinking about maybe even starting up a competitive league live, but I just think we've got to wait till the new season starts, so maybe on Thursday or Friday I will be bringing you some league footage. Now, what do we think about this hand? I mean, this hand functions, but in a very, very mediocre way. I'll still keep it, though. We don't really know what we're looking for. Oh, do we have some kind of a mirror match on our hands? No, not quite. It's a Noble Hierarch. Well, it could be Abzin with Hierarch and Siege Rhinos and things like that. Either way, we're gonna bolt the bird. We're gonna push the Hierarch. Okay. Don't quite know how useful that's gonna be, but I am interested in running it out, because Trophy on turn 2 is not exactly the most useful play either, especially against a deck that's clearly trying to ramp. Hierarch and birds. Another Overgrown Tomb, though, so I'm not sure quite what that signifies. Alright. So what I'm going to do here... Well... Yeah, I guess I'll still hit their graveyard. I was thinking about hitting mine, and maybe I would have if we didn't have a land in there as well, right? But for the purposes of drawing a Tarmogoyf, I guess we'll hit their yard. Alright, we got our third land, and there we go, an untapped third land. That's really it. So yeah, we'll just Edict here. They are stuck on one land, so taking care of these are... Wow, no, I'm sorry, I gotta wake up. Gotta wake up, wake up. Drink my coffee, wake up. They're not, in fact, stuck on one land. They have hit both land drops. But we've taken care of both Mana Dorks, so whatever they're up to, we're slowing it down. Scavenging Ooze, huh? Alright. Well, Scooz is a good one. And I guess I'm just gonna trophy it away. It is an Absendecker, so it would seem. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So obviously Lingering Souls would be pretty bad here. Tireless Tracker also potentially bad, but ooh, Fetchland, yep, that's rough, but we're going to get some great value of our own with Kalitas and the Lily Edict. We just hope they don't have removal for Kalitas, basically. Alright, well this is a mirror of sorts. Yep, we've got no choice but to take care of that tracker here. Alright. Shaping up to be an interesting game one here. Dark Confidant is a potentially solid draw. Opponent is in the tank. And to be fair, they got 4 cards in hand and a clue on board. There's probably a few different lines they could take. Yeah, that's a pretty solid one. Ooh, okay, but no land to follow it up. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Alright, well. Inquisition is a bit of an awkward draw, because I would be very happy normally to just trophy the tracker, get another zombie, and then play the Bob. And maybe that's still what I should do. I mean, the only problem is my Inquisition might kind of be dead from there on out, but I still think that's actually the better play. Alright, Kalitas is putting in so much work for us. You know, I'm a bit surprised that they just ran out the tracker and a mana dork there. I think if you're going to deploy the tracker, you probably do want to follow it up with a land. I understand they already got value out of the initial tracker and all that, and they were kind of making us have a removal spell perhaps, but still, based on how long they took, it seems like they had another option based on, obviously they had other options actually, because the number of cards they still had in hand, and they didn't play a land, you know, they did have another option. Knight is a strong one. Let's find some more removal, shall we? Skoos, trophy. Well, I guess we're just continuing to trophy things away here. Obviously, it's not as efficient as some alternatives, but and once more, I don't know if we're gonna really fire up our Inquisition here. What on earth is this? Court of Calling for 2. Okay. I have to say, did not expect that. This, wow. Yeah, okay. Well, now that they have the Devoted Druid, I think I have to Inquisition. So I don't die to the combo. Birds of Paradise and Walking Ballista. Alright, if they rip Vizier of Remedies or a way to find it. They really just... Wait, what? Okay. Maybe they're just saying, hey, I got you. It's the lobby. I don't feel like clicking through. Fair enough. Well, that was strange. I'm not gonna lie. That's something that I really, really did not recognize. You know, the abs and colors and the monodorks perhaps should have been a sign, but yeah, it just shows you how value-oriented those builds are now, right? So we're just bringing in all of our sweeper effects, all of our extra one effects, and all of our spot removal. Grafdigger's Cage is pretty strong here as well. We might even be interested in stuff like Kitchen Finks and Spellbomb to some degree, but I think these 6 cards are a slam dunk. We can probably trim 1 Lily of the Veil, and I think we just kind of have to move away from discard to some degree, simply because most of the other things we're doing are better. This is a rare matchup where it's not necessarily the most grindy, but we still cut a land because we're just lowering our curve a little bit. We've got all kinds of really good stuff to do. What else can we cut? I think I can just cut 1 Scavenging Ooze and call it good. Like, they're very, very grindy right now. So we're almost treating this like a mid-range matchup, but with a higher emphasis on killing weenies, and of course, a higher emphasis on stopping the combo, which is how we just quote-unquote lost. I have to maul this. I have to maul this as well. Field of Ruin killing me. This is a fine 5, actually. This is a very strong 5. Field of Ruin again, but this time we want it. Alright, and I don't even really know whether to call that a win or a loss because we we are on the draw now, so gonna be a little hard to get an exact result about, an accurate result for the series as a whole, but oh well. Alright, so we will Thoughtseize you. Okay, they have 2 lands, Ballista, E-Witness Company. So, taking the Ballista is how my Bob lives. So I actually think I might do that. I think if Bob lives, then I can outgrind a company. And if they want to use the Witness to buy back the Ballista, then that's also more or less fine with me. But I don't know, that gives them at least an efficient play this turn, right? So maybe I could have just taken the Coco. Oh, they're just going to buy back a land, sure. Alright, well, it's Bob time. Man, how unlucky, how lucky was that on their part, too? We had them absolutely wrecked. Oh, wow. Yeah, brutal. We had them absolutely wrecked with a massive board there at 4 life. They literally have to top deck the Vizier, or I guess a Cord, or maybe a Coco. And, yeah, they sure did, but looks like they're on a really strong value plan this time around. They've got a Coco in hand. Well, I guess we're going to go for the Kalitas and then try to make it a Kalitas game. Might be a little hard to see us grinding through all the tracker value here, but if we get like a kill spell off the top, we can make 2 zombies this turn. We don't. We get the Scoos, huh? Well, we still have to play her out, that's for sure. You're gonna get to collected company on the end step. It's gonna be bad, but and we just have to pass here because they could Coco into stuff that's big enough to kill the Cletus. We don't want that. We also want to just kind of protect the Lily and our life total at all costs. Well, you know, we could easily just be dead to the combo as well. So we're both empty-handed while they just drew for turn, but they've got 3 clues on the field, so Tireless Tracker is certainly a mirror breaker in that way. They're going digging with the Recruiter. They found another Devoted Druid, which is not that scary, but does give them some redundancy, I suppose. No attack, alright. That's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad draw. Really? The opponent just leaves, huh? Okay, well. Tourney practice lobby for you. I gotta be honest, I don't think we were gonna win that one. Nope, what's going on here? Try it again. Yep, I don't think we were gonna win that one. They had a really good start. And, yeah, game one we were unlucky. They just ripped that Vizier when they were dead on board, so very nice hand that we are working with here. Of course, we hope they play something that dies to Fatal Push, but even so, Thoughtseize into Goyf can go a long way if they don't. So this is that red-green Eldrazi deck with a very, very high top end. I don't know what to take here because the Thought Knots are the ones that die to Fatal Push. But they're just so slow that maybe we should... Huh. I actually don't know what to do here. I'm going to take a Smasher. Might be wrong. Might be incorrect, but Smasher is a card that we cannot deal with at all with the cards that we have at the moment. And even if we do eventually find an answer to it, definitely is going to cost us. Abrupt Decay is a bad draw against that particular hand, but maybe they found some cheaper stuff that it might hit. Dismember. Oh, okay. That's quite bad for us, actually. Ancient Stirrings. Finding a Smasher, yeah. Yeah, this is looking actually very bad for us. They're excruciatingly slow right now, but we're just not doing anything. And we can't even muster a Revolt trigger at the moment to take care of a Thought Knot Seer, so pretty bad. And that's really what we'll need. We'll need some way to take out this Thought Knot and hope to draw some good gas from there. Okay, there's actually a great draw. Field of Ruin's going to do it because we get to pop their temple, which is going to set them back on land, and then we get to push a Thought Knot. Well, we know they have another one, so what does that mean? That means we want to wait. But then if they have another land, they can just cast a Reality Smasher. That is the problem. Alright, so what I'm going to do is actually field on their upkeep. That way I've got Revolt for their full turn in case it matters. Like in case I draw another Fatal Push, basically. Could have done this on their draw step too, but they probably, I'm sure they play enough basics. We haven't seen any basics yet where that doesn't matter. Alright, well they don't have any good takes with their follow-up Thought Knot. That's the upside here. Oh boy. Yep, not great. Not great at all. So fielding does not necessarily accomplish anything. But at least our Hissing Quagmire can trade with these Eldrazi. Yep, there's the 5th land drop, so here comes a Smasher. Alright. We'll see who... I'm assuming they're just going to attack with both. Yeah, so who do we block here? I think I block the Thought Knot because I really need that draw. It's also better for preserving my life total, and at this point I don't mind paying the Smasher tax because I have extraneous lands in hand. So I think we do take this block. Inquisition is not a good draw. Liliana the Last Hope is... our Tarmogoyf is only a 4 or 5. So we have instant sorcery land creature. And... but I think that's still the play. If they kill the Planeswalker at any point, then the Goyf outsizes the Smasher. And if they don't, then we can use the Lily to minus on the Smasher the following turn. So, I guess that's it. And maybe we'll mill over... Actually, maybe we can mill over another type. We've got Nile Spellbomb and another Planeswalker. Didn't work. Alright, well, we're going to be getting hit by 2 Smashers next turn, so I think we're pretty dead. But honestly, the hand they kept was completely ridiculous against a deck like ours. Like, it's just pure top-end, pure insane value. Definitely a hand that would have just lost against a lot of the format, so what can you do? We're putting up a reasonable fight, but our draws of, like, Inquisition, Abrupt Decay have been very poor. Fatal Pushes where we really had to make them work to be good as well. Okay. Let's fine with me. The Goyf can now block these things. Ooh, nice. Very nice. So we get to cleanly Inquisition the Reshaper. And we get to cleanly Edict away a Smasher. And I think we will play out this fetch just in the interest of going on the Liliana plan. Unfortunately, we've got to stay back here, but all of a sudden we're in pretty decent shape. Let's hope they didn't rip anything too crazy off the top. Eldrazi Obligator. Well, that's completely insane. That's just gonna do it. Sometimes you gotta laugh. Sometimes you just gotta laugh about it. You got it. Yeah, I mean, nothing much we can do about that, that is for sure. So, our sideboard is not particularly great against these Eldrazi decks because they're not very common in the meta, right? Stuff like Engineered Explosives and Languish, they're a lot worse than some alternatives. You know, Damnation, for instance, is a lot better than Languish. We might still want Languish, but missing a Reality Smasher with it is such a big problem. Truly a big, big problem. We might want Kitchen Finks. I don't know how good Fulminator is here. Definitely worth considering. Honestly, none of our stuff is all that appealing aside from a couple things, but Nile Spellbomb is not doing much. Lily the Last Hope, I think we can cut one pretty cleanly. Collective Brutality, not a fan. Abrupt Decay, you know, the stuff that just goes a little bit too small, I think, is what we want to move away from. So maybe cut a couple Inquisitions and just bring in some stuff that's better, but still not necessarily the best. What if we just bring in all three Fulminators? How good is that? Like, how good can that be? It could be pretty decent. I'm going to give this a shot. Let's try Nissa and trip Fulminator and cut away our final Inquisition. We're just going to triple up on these chump blockers slash land destruction effects slash gray ogres and see how far it gets us. But if these decks were more common in the meta, my sideboard would probably look a bit different. This hand is actually good. It's a good hand. No threat, but Liliana the Veil is awesome. They have a Bloodbraid Elf and a Blood Moon. Well, the Blood Moon looks like it's doing them more harm than it's doing to us. At the moment, anyway. I'll take the Bloodbraid. How common is Blood Moon in these decks, anyway? Oh, they rip a Stirrings off the top. Man, I mean, their draws have been really good. Stirrings to find a Thought-Knot Seer, sure. So we've got to play the Liliana before the Blood Moon comes down. And I guess we're pitching Treetop Village. So under normal circumstances in most matchups, you would have wanted, with this sequence, to have played the Treetop instead of Quagmire, because we have the colors we need, and it's simply just a better land overall. They got double bolt, sure. Sure. But here, in this particular matchup, Hissing Quagmire is actually a better manland than Treetop Village, because Death Touch is huge against these Eldrazi. They took away our Tarmogoyf. Alright. Well, they know about this forest, so I guess we're going to play it out. And Pulse. Trophy is fine, but them having dealt with both our Lily and our Tarmogoyf is quite bad. Okay, so they've got Noble Hierarch and Blood Moon. Alright, so we're kind of in top deck mode, but... Okay, Fatal Push. I think I do want to push that Hierarch because they're totally mooned right now. So yeah, I'm just going to... make them a mono red deck, which is actually quite bad for them. No Stirrings, no more Mana Dorks, no more Thought Knots, Reality Smashers, Matter Reshapers. Pretty bad for them. Of course, we are just kind of bricking while we really have the window to take this game, but... Okay. Odds that they have a third Lightning Bolt are not the highest. Maybe Bob can run away with the game for us. And I'm not trophying that Blood Moon ever. Like, it's just probably going to lock them out of the game. Kind of hilarious. Fulminator Mage. Well, I can use my red mana for you. It's kind of cool. Yeah, so if you think about it, they're basically a 3-color deck without fetch lands, and they'll just scoop to their own Blood Moon. That's awesome. That is awesome. Now that we've seen a little bit more of their deck, does anything change? Not really. Like, they do play Mana Dorks, but I still think we mostly don't want cards like Inquisition and Brutality. In exactly one Liliana's fine, but I think 2 is a little bit excessive, especially on the draw, so yeah, this is still looking good to me. But yeah, but if you think about it, they're basically a 3-color deck that doesn't play fetch lands. That's why, you know, a different but similar deck, Black-White Eldrazi Taxes, same thing, the mana base. The mana base is the worst part of those decks, because again, it's basically 3-color without fetches, because they need colorless mana to cast, you know, the core of their deck, basically. And I understand that a lot of their cards are red, but Blood Moon seems a tad aggro to me, a tad ambitious, a tad aggressive. But who knows? So I think I play Swamp here. That way I can Fatal Push something. You know, if they rip a Mana Dork, I can Fatal Push that. I'm also developing my mana around Blood Moon. Probably fetching a forest next turn as well. Eldrazi Obligator, you got it. Well, now I wish I played the fetch land, but what can you do? Alright, I mean, we're going to be under a lot of pressure in terms of our life total, but I still think we play the Bob. We can always consider taking the trade here as well. Now that we have Nissa, we might be able to grind them out without getting card advantage. But here comes a Thought-Knot Seer, because they're just going to curve out perfectly every game, apparently. So the stuff is all a bit out of our hands. The moment, if they've got a Smasher next turn, we might just lose, but so taking this trade here grows our Tarmogoyf. I think I take the trade. Yeah, I think I take the trade. Maybe I'm a little too skittish about our life total, but phew, man, we're just bricking pretty hard. The big question is, do we field or do we play the Goyf? Like, I guess we just field because we can't really block with the Goyf right now anyway. I'm going to get a forest here because we have a second swamp in hand and we're completely insulated that way against Blood Moon. We can even play Nissa under it, but obviously we don't get to bluff anything here with just one green source up. But obviously if we had a Fatal Push, we would have used it right then and there, right? So bluffing wouldn't really accomplish anything. This might not be our lucky day, my friends. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't play a league if this is the way our opponents are going to be drawn. Okay, Maelstrom Pulse. Time to shine. Blooming Marsh, not quite. Not so much. Good God. Well, I do not see Field of Ruin accomplishing anything there. Alright, so if they don't have any way to finish us off here, we are still drawing live to double Maelstrom Pulse to Languish. Of course, if they... Oh, Blood Parade Elf. Oh my God. Yeah, you sure did it. You sure did it. That's what we call a nut draw. That is what we call a certified homegrown nut draw. Good game, well played. Yeah, that was quite rough. That was quite brutal. Yeah, these Eldrazi decks, I guess I'm pretty glad that they're not so much in the meta. Obviously, we can beat them, but they're not something that I really like to face. Oh my God, guys, what is this stuff? What is all this? So we have 3... We have 3 draw steps before it becomes awful that we didn't hit another land. Ugh. Yeah, no, I should maul the... oh, God. Oh, God. Tough call. I'm gonna mull, though. Alright, this is more functional. For sure, bottom you. Alright, Inquisition time. Well, I have no idea what this deck is doing. But I know that I'm going to take one of the two Oaths of Liliana. So Oath of Liliana is an edict effect that creates zombies every time a planeswalker enters the battlefield, basically. And Garruk Wildspeaker untaps lands and makes beasts. Alright. We just keep, like, having to mulligan or just keeping hands that are decent but a little high on the land count, and then just drawing lands. Like, that's just kind of the story of our day today. Grasping Dunes is gonna put -1/-1 counters. You sack it. Alright. What does this do? Wow, okay. They seem to benefit from getting lands in their graveyard for sure. Is this some kind of a loam deck? I don't really know. I think that actually makes me want to pitch my Field of Ruin, because I'm just assuming that putting lands in their graveyard is bad. Then again, they're going to get plenty in the yard from this Liliana, so who knows. Blighted Fen. Alright. Well, they seem very oriented toward using their lands, A, to fill up their graveyard, and B, to control the board. We just can't stop drawing lands. Just can't stop drawing lands. Well, guess it's field again. At least they can't play the Garruk at all. Hey, maybe Lily and Treetop will just get us there. Cycling. All right. So they just kind of did nothing there. I'm assuming this is some kind of a loam deck, though, so we're going to bring in our Graveyard Hate. We are... I guess we want Maelstrom Pulse because it looks like they've got a lot of Planeswalkers. And other than that, I mean, they're kind of like a black-green control shell in a weird way, so maybe Kitchen Finks is good. Grindy game. I'm going to bring in the Nissa. And I don't really know what else I honestly need. So I don't know if like Surgical Extraction or Collective Brutality are things that I'm interested in so much. So what if we just kind of try to bring in these 5 and see what else we don't like? Maybe Fatal Push is not the most relevant here. And what else? I'm not sure if they play Lilianas. Otherwise, if I was sure they didn't, I might cut the Abrupt Decay. Maybe I'll cut the Abrupt Decay anyway, since then, yeah, we don't really know what we're up against, so let's run it like this and see what happens. We'll leave 1 Collective Brutality in. There is obviously an option to cut that as well. Maybe we will in Game 3 if indeed there is one, but Yeah. Hand is fine, but this Twilight Mire is our only untapped. We don't have an untapped source on Black Source on turn 1. Sakura Tribe Scout. Well, now I wish I kept my Fatal Pushes in. Yeah. With these decks, you never really know. You never really know. Liliana the Last Hope is an answer to that, but it's very slow. They're going to get 2 activations out of him, and he will have done his part. Or she, I suppose. Okay, well, we are drawing more gas, I guess, but Oath of Liliana and Garruk Wildspeaker. Well, we can weather the Oath, especially because we're going to do that on our own terms. And once more, that might be kind of rotting in hand while we make this a Planeswalker game, while we make this a Liliana game, although it is going to be the other Liliana this time. And they're just going to get to dump out all their cards. Dunes of the Dead makes a zombie. I mean, lots of really cool stuff going on there. But they play out another Tribe Scout, so they're not necessarily accomplishing all that much. But they will get to pressure our Liliana off the field over the course of 2 turns. Because we're going to play her, we're going to kill a Scout, then they hit her for 3 with Quagmire and Tribe Elder. Okay, so I think we still do that, though, right? I think we still do that. There's no point in playing a creature to try to protect her, because then they get to play the Oath of Liliana. So I think we make life most awkward for them by doing this. And, like, we don't need our Liliana to win the game. We need her to slow them down, to give us time to hit more land drops, basically. And then we've got all the gas in the world in our hand. So if we can just use her to kill 2 things and take up a couple full turns. Oh, Garruk Wildspeaker. Alright, well. Alright, land is good. Land is good. So yeah, we get to go Tracker into land, and then they get to play Oath of Lily, but then we get to do all kinds of good stuff. Shaping up to be a pretty interesting game. I wonder if there is an argument for playing Assassin's Trophy into Scavenging Ooze, actually, but with these 2 trackers in hand, I don't think so. I think we really wanted to just make sure we made a clue there and have an eye toward the long game. Alright, that's pretty cute. They get to untap and kill our Lily. But at least they haven't made a beast. Okay, Overgrown Tomb. So I think it's Tracker into land, into Trophy on the Garruk. Alright. We're ahead now. We are pretty clearly ahead now, in my opinion. So they've got the ability to make a zombie when this goes to the graveyard, and they can sack this to put a -1/-1 counter. And they, of course, have a Hissing Quagmire as well. Ooh, Collective Brutality. Into Vraska Golgari Queen. Yikes. Wow, that's really good. That's really good synergy with a lot of their stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. Desert of the Glorified. They've got so many lands that they're just get to keep ticking her up. They can also -3 to decay. Well, lots of value going on over there. Oof. I guess Kalidas is our play. Kalidas walls off all of their attackers. Can't get decayed by Vraska. But no clue crack is a little awkward. The alternative would just be to play Ooze and Bob, but the problem with that is they can just kill Bob with the Grasping Dunes. That's very bad. So, I guess. But I just said how ahead we were, but that Vraska has changed everything. Absolutely changed everything. You know, I actually think that we are arguably gonna put together a higher win rate on average in leagues than we are in the tournament practice lobby. Because in the tournament practice lobby, you know, we've seen all reasonable decks. This deck, it looked a little weird game one, but this has got some reasonable coherent synergies. But okay, this is gonna maybe clear the way for a double spell turn next turn. But anyway, a lot of the decks that are like coherent but not the strongest, like this one, you know, like a tier 3 strategy like this, you know, they're gonna have game against us. They're gonna have game against us. I found another Grasping Dunes. Well, okay. This is pretty absurd. We are in trouble, my friends. We are in trouble. We drew a swamp. Yep. Not good. I'm just gonna scoop here. We can't really win. Alrighty. So it is a Life from the Loam deck. It's just basically grind city. We saw a couple Sakura Tribe Scouts. I don't think that makes us want Abrupt Decay, but it might make us want just like a Fatal Push or two. Or maybe a Collective Brutality? Nah, they're too permanent heavy for Collective Brutality, I think, to be great. So couple Fatal Push maybe, but what would we take out? I actually think Liliana the Veil is not the greatest here in a few different ways, so I can consider shaving one. I still like the Nissa. Maybe we actually don't like our Kalidas, because they're not going to present too many non-token creatures, especially by the time he's down. I could buy that. We'll bring in a couple Fatal Pushes, which of course can help us against the tokens as well, but not the primary use case, not the ideal use case, but sometimes if we just don't care so much about value as we care about board state, that can be relevant. Yeah, hand is good. Think we have to effect shock Thoughtseize here. Alright, 3 lands, Life from the Loan, Oath of Liliana, Vraska, and Sakura Tribe Scout. Well, that's a lot of really good stuff. Oath of Liliana is problematic, but I guess Vraska is still a higher priority take here. Of course, we will push the scout this turn. Upcoming turn, that is. And I don't think we run out the spell bomb quite yet. Don't think we want to run that out quite yet. If we draw a Planeswalker or another, yeah, basically a Planeswalker next turn, we want to have the ability to play her. Okay, Scavenging Ooze. Mirror Pool. Okay, what the heck does this do? I love their land selection. Tap 3 in it, copy an instant or sorcery. Tap 5 in it, create a token that's a copy of target creature. Well then, that's kind of cool. So I think even though Scooz is good in the matchup, I think our play here is just to run out the Scooz, draw out the Oath of Liliana, then try to ride the Tarmogoyf to victory. I'm actually going to play the Swamp here so I can just gain a life with the Ooze. Might not be the most relevant, but it's not going to change the size of the Tarmogoyf. And I might be spellbombing them at some point anyway. Here comes the Oath. Yep. Alright. Assassin's Trophy. Well, that's an out to some stuff, but alright, let's hope they don't have another Edict effect or another Vraska. Would be awful, but does not look like they do. Alright, so they've got 2 Fields of Ruin. That's very bad for us. Very awkward for us. So for that reason, I don't think we fire up any lands, because that kind of plays into their hands. It gives them something to do this turn. It gives them Life from the Loam value. We'd rather just hold up Trophy and Spellbomb. Alright, the Tarmogoyf is a great clock here, though, obviously. Alright, I mean, they're not really doing a ton over there, so I think we just remain as disciplined as possible with our action here. Collective brutality. We can take away their life from the loam, but I don't think we actually should. I think we just get in with the Goyf again and continue to hold up all of our stuff. Although that mirror pool makes me wonder if they do have, you know, more instants and sorceries in their deck than I thought they did, but honestly, who could say? Who could possibly tell these things? Alright. Well, if we draw an untapped land, they could feasibly be dead to Quagmire plus Goyf plus Brutality Drain, which I think we'll go for if they don't do anything relevant this turn. But looks like they found a Planeswalker. Garruk, yep. You got it. Making a beast, sure. Alright, they are tapping out Life from the Loam, so here's our cue to Spellbomb, which I frankly probably would have on the end step anyway. Field of Ruin. Not the most exciting. However, it actually gives us lethal if they don't block with the beast, which of course they should. Okay, they get a zombie, that's right. So they're getting a zombie. I think we just trophy the Garruk here. Because we're not going to kill them this turn anyway. When we untap, unless we draw something unforeseen. But I think we just really want to make sure they don't stabilize. Making another beast would be a problem. This beast is fine. Thoughtseize. Alright, these cards are both out of their hand. This can make a copy of tokens, it looks like. Alright, that's interesting. So I think what I actually want to do is Brutality the Zombie. Play the Field of Ruin, Brutality the Zombie, pitch the Thoughtseize. That way they have to chump the Goyf. I can get in for 2. Sure. Whoops, I didn't escalate. Let's escalate. I just don't think they have a good Thoughtseize target, but yeah, maybe I'm wrong here, but we shall see. All right, you know, obviously more planeswalkers are what we wish to fade here, but just based on the way they've sequenced, I really don't think they have a planeswalker in hand. Obviously, the top deck is real, but they drew a Blighted Fen. That's actually a great out to Tarmogoyf. They found a Sakura Tribe Scout as well. This is why I really wanted to, like, make sure I drained for 2 with the Brutality, make sure I got in for 2 with the Quagmire, because putting them this low, like, they have a lot of outs to Tarmogoyf, and they did find one. That's why I sequenced the way I did. Clicking with Urborg on the field is a bit of a pain. And I don't see that land over there that gives a creature a -1/-1 counter, so I think we're all clear to play the Bobby. And they felt obligated to take the block there, which, again, they could have been dead to a Collective Brutality, so I think that was fine. And Bob's honestly a decent draw. Oh, they dredged a Life from the Loam for their turn. For their draw step, they put Smallpox, Garruk Wildspeaker, and Dunes of the Dead into the yard. Now they get to buy back the Blighted Fen. That's actually pretty crazy value. But they're going to have to basically they're going to have to literally tap out to activate it. And we get to crack in for 2 with the Quagmire. But do they have other plans? Ooh, they found a collective. Okay. Oh, they get to, when they copy this, do they get to change the modes? You can choose new targets, but do you... No, they have to just use the disfigure mode again, huh? That's still very, very cool, though. Alright. Oh, whoa, they... What? Say what now? Hold up. How did they do that? Did they escalate and I didn't realize? They had another card in hand? Well, that's insane. And we draw a Maelstrom Pulse. Yeah, guys, I don't know. We might just be kinda... They might have just stabilized on us. I think we just get in for another 2, but that was an insane, insane little sequence they just had. It's worth noting that this Blighted Fen, well, yeah, it's not restricted to sorcery speed only, so this thing can even kill our Quagmire. They're gonna cycle. Oh, wait a minute. Scar's Desert. Yeah, okay, the loam value is well and truly up and running. Well, we're continuing to pressure them back down, but I truly don't know if we have this one. They dredged again. So Grasping Dunes is the one that gives a -1/-1 counter, and they now have the Fen up. Jeez. Right on freaking cue, draw the Bob. Well, this is just very unfun. This is a miserable matchup. We're just gonna pass. We don't wanna just keep playing into their hands with like doing one thing at a time, letting them constantly, you know, kill our stuff with their lands, then get it back with life from the loam, do it all over again. We have to kind of overload them now at this point. And of course we have to... They're only taking one card back, sure. Of course we have to clear out that Blighted Fen, but we can't just do it to do it and then be done with it, because of course they can get it back. So we've got to take our window for that. And it's not... Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they can stay alive with Grasping Dunes. So, not quite yet. Thoughtseize. Sure. Another life from the loam. I love a good grindy deck, but this is a little ridiculous. I don't know how this deck, like, does anything in the fast modern format, to be honest. We got Smallpox, I guess. That's good against some, that's good early against some decks, but... Okay. I think we're just going to hold that as well, and we are going to really try to, again, overload them. So, in theory, there might be, you know, let's say we draw like a third creature and then a land. We can have a turn where we play 3 creatures, we make a clue. They'll have to handle that stuff, and then they'll have to face a turn where we're untapping with a couple of creature lands and a bunch of actual creatures. So I guess that's our best bet now. Blooming Marsh, huh? Is it worth running out the tracker now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or do we wait for another creature? I think we wait. I'm kind of not particularly enjoying this game anymore, so I'm not the most invested in the decisions. So maybe this is wrong, but I think we're supposed to wait. This only mathematically works out if we find another 2-drop, but let's say we find a Tarmogoyf or something, or a Scavenging Ooze, then we can just, again, lay out 3 creatures on 1 turn, make a clue, and then, like, the incremental 1-for-1 trading is playing right into their hands, so we've got to take a different approach here, I think. Hissing Quagmire. Don't care about that right now. So do I want to hit their Blighted Fen on the end step? I probably do. Yeah, it's time to go for it. Whatever, we're gonna end the game one way or the other here. Okay. It's not a 3rd creature, but it's a double clue, so that's pretty good. Inquisition. Do I even play that? Yeah, I guess so. I guess we're just going to Inquisition and Bob, but running the Bob out into Grasping Dunes is pretty bad. Well, we get to take their Smallpox. That's actually pretty useful. Alright. Show us the unbeatable grindy value. Oh, so they didn't kill a Bob on the end step with Grasping Dunes? It's interesting. I definitely expected that, but I guess it's just slightly more mana efficient to do it that way, and maybe they don't need to be mana efficient. I don't really know. Yeah, you know, as much as I like Modern to be a more fair format than it is more interactive, more grindy, like, I'm glad it's not a format like this. This is just a little bit insane. I'm almost grateful to play against, like, I like being on a grindy deck, but I don't like when the whole format is just grind central. And they found an Oath of Liliana, so yeah, that's great. We're just, I guess we're just dead. They get to buy back their Fen now. Oh, wait a minute. They didn't buy back the Fen. They're clocking us. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Whatever, we're just gonna attack. With both. They're scooping? Didn't they have this out? They just tap and sack twice. Oh, only when you could cast a sorcery. Whoa. Okay, well, first of all, that makes sense because that card would be way more powerful if it was at instant speed. Secondly, maybe I just almost punted that matchup by playing around Grasping Dunes that whole time when I didn't need to. Yeah, that's very possible. Maybe I had them dead beforehand. So if that's true, I apologize. That is a little bit crazy if so. You know, like I said, my heart wasn't really in that game. This hand is pretty poor, but I'm going to keep it. I don't think this hand is one that we should mull in a blind game 1, but I also don't think it's a good hand. Like I said, my heart wasn't really in that game. I kind of, you know, all those lands, all that grindy inevitability when they start Life from the Loaming. I mean, it's just like, whatever. It all just kind of blends together, right? Looks like we're against the maybe Naya Landfall, which is basically a zoo-style aggressive deck in most builds, and of course our hand is particularly poor against something like that, with double Scoos but no real way to fill up the graveyard. We really hope we can somehow get a 2-for-1 with Maelstrom Pulse, but we're already getting hit for 4 by this thing on turn 1. Not great. Not great at all. I'm definitely not sure what blue does. Oh, Tribal Flames. Yeah, that's what blue does. Okay. Well, here we go. Here we go. And once again, we keep like a middling to below average land heavy hand, and then we just rip lands off the top. We're just having a bad day, boys. Having a bad day. That's alright. We're still competitive in these games even when we're having a bad day. And yeah, we're still getting across the line at least some of the time. Playing that untapped is a little worrisome. You can't take this block. We're not at the stage of chumping quite yet. Tribal Flames is any target, right? Yeah, okay. Bolt the Scoos. Yeah, we just got a Pulse. Even though that thing has arguably outlived its window of major usefulness, like for instance, they might struggle to find landfall triggers. They might have struggled to find landfall triggers for it. It's hard to say, but oh no, not like this. So why is everybody playing Tireless Tracker these days? This is my card. You guys stay away from the Tracker. She's mine. Then again, they are a deck that cares about landfall triggers, so I certainly think it makes some sense, but of course, there is a bit of incongruity between playing the really aggressive stuff and the Tireless Tracker, but, you know, I guess that's why this deck isn't really tier 1. I mean, them being on the play was a big problem for how all this played out. Yep, there's another land. And now we can't trade with their tracker, so we're going to take 5, potentially. And that's if they have nothing better to do than crack a clue. Yep, despite how medium our hand was, if we were... I'm not going to block. If we were on the play, I think we could be in much, much, much better shape. And I'd be pretty confident after that draw of Tireless Tracker, to be honest, if we were on the play. But as things stand, I'm really not so sure. Knight. Yep. Only lands, only lands. Okay. So, Scooz has 2 targets to eat. Not the most exciting. I think we really want to look for a kill spell here, so I'm going to crack a clue. Literally drawn almost only lands for this whole game. Sweet. I think we're going to try to ride the tracker to victory, so we're... oh, this is all so bad. We're just going to play the Scooz, plan to chump, gain a life. Like, our hand is mono lands now, so we have no choice but to keep the tracker alive. Like, she is our only hope, but they've got this synergy with tracker into Knight, and they don't even need the Knight to find their land, because they just have a fetch land. Pretty good stuff. Alright, can you kill us? Well, the tracker is obviously lethal, so... Even if we do somehow stabilize, they've got so much value out of the tracker that we might not... Tribal Flames, sure. Slow rolling us. Alright, alright, alright. They showed me a few too many 3-drops for me to be super excited about EE, so we're probably going to leave that out. Deathmark, Finks, Pulse are all great. I'll play a Languish, and I will play a Collective Brutality as well. I think that's a good one here. That's probably all we're interested in, so... we'll cut the Nile Spellbomb, and I think we want to respect our life total enough to trim... I guess we're just trimming away Thought Seizes and 1 Bob. I think that seems like a good place to start. Yeah, everything else we're playing looks pretty good here. Lily the Last Hope, we could probably stand to shave one of, but... what else do we like more than her? Really not much. Yeah, let's run it like this. We're on the play, so we can leverage Planeswalkers in general a little bit better on the play. And then if they show us more 1-drops, maybe we'll sub her out for an EE Game 3. Something like that could be advisable. Yeah, all these people picking up Tireless Tracker in these decks. I don't know about that. I mean, obviously she's wonderful, but I feel like her true home is in Golgari. But I guess it's not as offensive as Tron playing some Tarmogoyfs in their sideboard. That's just truly blasphemous, is it not? Yeah, not a keep. This is a keep. I think we bottom that. Obviously a tough call, but I think we will bottom another tracker. One should be sufficient. We need to hit lands to make her good. We also need to hit interaction to not die. Alright, Wild Nicottle, Plated Geopede, Steplings. What does Geopede do? This is a first strike landfaller. I guess we just take Nicottle. Yeah, we'll take the Nicottle. They've just got a few too many creatures, I think, for us to consider taking the path. They may also feel obligated to path the use here. It'll obviously depend on a few different things, but Maelstrom Pulse, that's a fine draw. They're not going to feel obligated to path the ooze just yet, because they can outsize it with a landfall trigger, and indeed 2 landfall triggers if they play a fetch. So they'll probably just run out the Geopede here, or maybe they've got some other draw. Alright, getting cracked for 4. Sure, there's the Geopede, and we draw Tarmogoyf. Alright, so we are just going to play out the Goyf here. And we're also just planning to take the hit from their stuff next turn, because they have a triple fetch land hand. Their hand was actually insane, by the way. Path to Exile, 3 landfall or land-oriented fast aggressive creatures, and triple fetch land. Very good. So I think I do get in for 2 here. The other option is holding it back for like a double block on the step links, but that seems pretty awful. And actually, that doesn't even work against Path to Exile, right? So we just have to take yet another huge hit here and then try to stabilize. They found another fetch land. So we still know they have a fetch land in hand. This is very bad. We're kind of getting wrecked today, guys, but I don't think our opponents have taken a single mulligan, and they've pretty much had very strong draws throughout. Our opening hands have been so mediocre, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, but our opening hands have been resoundingly mediocre. What else do they have? Renegade Rallier to buy back a fetch land. Or, yeah. Yep. That's indeed what they'll do. Well, that's really good. Wonder if they just path the Goyf here. Yeah, is that going to be lethal? Well, we're getting turn 3'd through an Inquisition and a blocker. Good times. Well, that was a certified nut draw as well. Alright, alright. Not a great day for the Grimflayer. Not a great day at all. This is gonna be my last game. Let's try to get a good win, a good display here. But definitely on the you're getting roughed up a little bit today, guys. And once again, we just have an opening hand that we can't keep. Yeah, too dependent on finding both. Yeah, got them all. Alright, this hand's fine. Hey, our opponent mulled as well. I think I like her in a blind game one. In context of our hand, I think I do like her. Opponent scryed to the top. And we are against, well, a Drake deck. Crackling Drake is the big problem here, but we can't take that. Yeah, I guess we'll just take away this Enigma Drake here. I wonder, I guess they probably scryed a land to the top, but the fact that they shocked in their steam vents, yeah, they still might have just scryed a land at the top. So Lily the Last Hope is not necessarily accomplishing all that much right now, so I guess I am interested in playing the Scoos here. And if we can't, well, I mean, let me rephrase that. We can't cast Liliana next turn anyway. We're still waiting on a black land for that. Yeah, maybe I should have bottomed her, but I'm just used to drawing all the lands after our first few games. There's a mountain. And then we're not sure. This card is pretty wild. Ooh, Seize Claim? Are you kidding me? Seize Claim. Not Spreading Seas, but Seize Claim. Yeah, I mean, you got it, my friend. Seize Claim. Well, that's quite bad for us. Stone Rain. What on earth are we playing against? What is this crap? What is this crap? Okay. Well, Tarmogoyf is generally pretty good against these, if you can stick one against these land hate decks. But the big problem with that is when they hit that Crackling Drake mana, the Drake is going to be, even if our Goyf grows, it's going to be big enough to trade with it. Alright, so I don't think we want to eat that creature quite yet, but we will, I guess, just start eating some sorceries. Don't know what else they could possibly be playing in here. Oh my god. This is just not my day. I'm never going to cast perhaps any of these cards in my hand. Alright, no fourth land. Oh, fourth land. Yeah, very exciting times. So, I guess our best draw is like a fetch land. Or just a fetch land basic. Any land in general and we're fine, to be honest. And if we get a land in general, we can either push or pulse the Drake. And either way, that's going to put a creature in the yard. So for that reason, I think I eat the Enigma Drake here on the end step. Alright, land. Collective Brutality. I have no words. I have no words. You know, we can't stop drawing lands for the entirety of this session, basically, but we'll sure get seized claimed out of the game by a Crackling Drake deck. That's definitely gonna happen. What else do you got? Alright, Fetch Land is still live. Man, this is so much fun. I can't tell you how much fun I'm having right now. Can't tell you how fun it is to not play Magic. Sweet. I'm going to play this one out because I really don't want to lose to this awful deck. I'm really determined to draw a land and therefore be in the game. Triple Spellheart Chimera. Okay. Overgrown Tomb does not let us do anything good here. We have to play it. We have to play it, and the question is, do we play Tracker or do we play Collective Brutality, which would be drain them for 2 and spot check the hand. I'm going to play the Tracker. They have a counter spell in this deck? Yeah. Of course, because that's coherent deck building. Tarmogoyf's big now, though. Tarmogoyf is now big. We'll attack. They can double block, that's fine. Alright, they're dead to a Collective Brutality, but they've probably got another Mana Leak in hand. So who knows? I don't mean to be so salty. Another Crackling Drake. Nice. But, like, this is just stupid. This is just insane. And that will be exactly lethal. Yep. Well, that was a fun game of Magic. So they have a lot of stuff that cares about the graveyard. They have the Enigma Drake and the Chimera. Maelstrom Pulse is good. Maybe we'll give them a little bit of taste of their own medicine with Choke. Languish seems good. I guess we want Collective Brutality to take care of Stone Rain and Mana Leak, but it doesn't hit Seize Claim. These are things that I shouldn't have to be saying about a modern deck, but I am. So we've got 6 considerations. I mean, honestly, everything our deck is doing is fine against them. We just got kind of cheesed out of that game. Maybe we just want to be super lean and mean. So we'll cut a couple Last Hopes, which I don't think are great. We'll cut a Kalitas. Maybe even cut a Lily. Lily seems pretty solid, actually. Lily the Last Hope isn't really bad either. Maybe we don't go too heavy on spell bombs. Let's go Choke, Languish, Brute. Let's go 1 Brutality, because it doesn't hit the Seize Claim, and it doesn't kill any of their stuff. So the 1 Brutality we have main deck is probably fine. Do we want to squeeze in a Nile Spellbomb, a second Nile Spellbomb, in place of anything else? I could buy that. Let's cut... Let's cut a Tireless Tracker. We're just getting, like I said, lean and mean. We're going to answer the board. Above all else. Alright, and let's win this game. Let's win this game. Alright, hand is pretty sweet, but given my luck today, I'm worried I won't hit a 3rd land. But maybe our luck will change. Let's Inquisition. They have Blood Moon. Yeah, Blood Moon, Stone Rain. Cool. Serum Vision, Spellheart, Chimera. What a pleasure. What a pleasure to play against. I mean, right now, I think we take the Stone Rain. Obviously, Blood Moon is not ideal either, but in theory, I can see us playing around it. We do have a basic forest already. If we can hit our 3rd land naturally, we get to choke them and slow down there. Okay, there we go. That's what I like to see. Alright, so as long as our choke doesn't get mono-leaked, I feel like we're going to be in a good position. There's a mountain. They have removal for the ooze, perhaps? That wouldn't be great, but... I guess we attack first. If they've got removal here, this might incentivize them to play it now. Alright, I guess we go for the choke. They really have their Monoleak. Their Monoleak is live, yep. Well, there's just no chance that all of these cards working together is good. But there you have it. So this is equal to instants and sorceries in the graveyard, so it is mana efficient to spell bomb and draw a card. I guess that's my plan. we don't need to hold out for like the perfect spell bomb. We can just take a decent one right now. And I guess I'm supposed to fetch a basic here to play around the Blood Moon. See what we draw. Abrupt Decay? Sure. Not bad. See if they take this block. Nice, the bluff works. Obviously, if we wanted to make sure we got our 2 through, we could have just decayed that, but I don't think that's necessary. That card doesn't do much right now. I can't say it doesn't do anything, because it will block our ooze for now once they call our bluff, but actually don't know if I've ever even seen that card before. Spellheart Chimera. Well, the good news about our choke getting Monolith is if they kept Seize Claim in the deck, then we don't choke ourselves out. So, yeah. Upsides. Upsides. I guess we're going to be interested in what they do with their scries here. 2 on top. Great. Relic of Progenitus, huh? Sure. How is Relic good in your deck with all of this stuff? Like, how? I'm sorry, but how? We will, I guess, get rid of a land. And I guess I am going to decay this here on the end step. I can gobble it up with the ooze and then, okay. Bob, sure. Thinking about cracking the Relic in response, maybe? Which I don't care about. Definitely considering that if I had to guess. I think regardless we are going to attack, play the Field of Ruin, use that to play the Bob, then we can hold up Trophy or a Scoo's activation. You know, given the mishmash of cards over there, I'm not going to be surprised if they like play Anger of the Gods and wipe my board. It's just, you just never know. You just never know. Be sweet. There we go. Okay, they let it happen. Sure. Time for attacks. Alright, so executing our plan as I just laid out, and I mean, both Bob and Scooz are fairly high value creatures at the moment. Again, I'm just, you know, there's no way a sweeper effect should be in their deck, and it's not. Okay, they just scoop it up. Sweet. Cool. Okay, I was gonna say there's no way it should be in their deck, but then again, a lot of their stuff doesn't really work together the best anyway. So if I got angered there or something, I would have just tilted off the face of the earth, but I didn't, and it was good. So let's see if we have any other considerations on the draw. I don't think so. I think we're still not that high on Lily the Last Hope. I think I'm still fine cutting away like a Kalidas, a Tracker. Maybe I take my choke out now that we're on the draw, now that they're a little worried about it and all that stuff, for another Nile Spellbomb? Is that what we want? Sure. Sure, I like that well enough. This hand is good. Discard is pretty paramount here. Taking away the Blood Moons and Stone Rain and similar things, and hitting these fetch lands is also pretty great for the same reasons. Okay, so they have a Drake, 2 Blood Moons, and a Spellheart Chimera. So we can take away both Blood Moons with both of our Inquisitions. Or we can take away a Spellheart. If I only had the one Inquisition, or if I had a Thoughtseize instead as my second Inquisition, I would take the Spellheart Chimera. But as things are, I mean, I guess we do have to try to take away both Blood Moons. As awkward as that is, because we need double black for Liliana, but we also need green mana to play, basically, so very, very annoying. Ooh, Thoughtseize is a heck of a draw. Okay. They drew land. Sweet. I think we still go get another basic swamp here, just in case. Just in case. Okay. Can you beat me with a Spellheart Chimera only? Seize Claim? Come on. Seize Claim. They got us with the Seize Claim. Not really, because we get to play our Liliana. I'm going to pitch, I think Assassin's Trophy here is my pitch. Okay, did they find something they would rather play than the Chimera? Looked like they were only tapping 2, but maybe it is going to be the Chimera. Or is it a Stone Rain? You know how tilted I'd be at the old Stone Rain. Oh my god, it is! It is! Because of course it is. Because of course it is. I'm very tilted right now, my friends. Very tilted. But we get to make this a Liliana the Veil game. And it's gonna be, I guess, the Fatal Push for now. Yeah, we'll pass. Sure. Oh, just awful. Just awful, but Lily makes everything better. There's still really no way we should be losing this game, but if they just keep ripping... Jeez, you've got to be kidding me. I've got no words for this one, guys. I've got no words for this one. Oh my god. Alright, so worst card here is... I guess it's Trophy still, because it needs... needs 2 colors, and I've only got blue. What a horrifyingly bad experience it is to play against a deck like this. Like, even win or lose, who cares? It's just miserable Magic. But if we ever find a green land, or Tarmogoyf, it's going to be a big problem for them. And as far as I know, they don't have any haste threats, so like we can just keep edicting away the things they play and then ticking up when no, they're going to Spreading Seas themselves. Well, now I'm glad I haven't found a third land. Can you imagine if I'd found like a... like a man land last turn and then got it seized? Oh, I would have lost it. I would have lost it. So, I'm fine pitching the Scoos here. It's not ever going to be good anymore with all this stuff going on. Crackling Drake out of their hand. I like that. Seize Claim. Well, they're just doubling up on everything, huh? Blooming Marsh. I don't get to tap this for double blue? Come on. Come on. I think we tick up here so that we can alt next turn and still have the Lily around. If that seems like the correct play to make. They found an island, sure. Alright, so we are going to alt. So what if we... What if, because we don't care and we're just kind of trolling this troll deck, what if we put all of their land hate on one side and all of their actual lands on the other? Is that just the thing to do? Yeah, I like that. Molten Rain, yeah, buddy. I think I want to hang on to this pulse, so I'll tick up and pitch the field, I guess. Enigma Drake, you got it. We get to pulse you away. We get to play a treetop village. We get to tick up. And we get to hit you. Did they scoop? They scoop. They didn't even let us close out the game. Oh, how rude. How rude after all those Seas claims and all those spreading seas and stone rains and molten rains and blood moons. Didn't even let us close out the game, but hey, that was pretty deterministic, right? They were dead after that to the treetop village hit, as well as obviously the Tarmogoyf, but even if they could somehow answer that, they're dead to treetop. We've got Lily. That was just over. So we did it. We pulled off the win against the Drakes and Chimeras and all of the land hate that doesn't really work that well together, especially with monoleaks in the deck. But anyway, that was a very mixed bag of results today, my friends. We got honestly had some poor luck overall. Just had some very medium draws, had some very mediocre progressions. But and our opponents, like I said, I don't think they mulled at all until this last match. You know, for example, that Naya Landfall deck had nut draws. They turn 3'd us through an Inquisition and through a couple blockers. They, you know, in round 1, that Counters Company deck was dead a million different ways on board. They needed to top deck the Vizier. They top decked the Vizier, right? So we didn't have the best luck in the world, but definitely some interesting games, definitely some worthy matches, and yeah, I don't know if I really have any data from today or any feelings from today that play into how I'm feeling about my current list. I think it's totally fine. I felt like against the tiered matchups we faced, we had the right things to do. We had enough to do. Basically, the Counters Company deck. Otherwise, I did feel a little light against that red-green Eldrazi deck, but it's not that much in the meta. And the changes that would make me feel better against that deck would be like Damnation instead of Languish, which I'm kind of on the fence about anyway. So if we needed to shift a little bit more toward that, it wouldn't be that bad at all. Otherwise, you know, if you don't have enough to do against that deck we just faced in the final round, well, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you're just gonna have to see what happens. But yeah, I'm still in favor of our list. I still like our list. Nothing I saw today makes me really want to change anything. Nile Spellbomb was a card that was fairly relevant overall today. I think I do like still having that 1 main and access to 3 overall is pretty sweet. So yeah, let's just leave it there. Like I explained at the beginning of the video, I wanted to start playing a league today. Don't think I would have had enough time by the end of Wednesday to finish five league matches. And for that reason, I just decided to run us through the Tourney practice lobby again. But look out for a new video Thursday or Friday for sure. We will be starting up probably a competitive league and see how far our build gets us against some more highly tiered decks. But you know, today there was some cool stuff that happened. There were some fun matches, but definitely a little bit more on the frustrating side than I'm usually used to. But hey, you can't always have a perfect day of Magic, and we've been getting the results when it matters. So I don't mind a little bit of bad luck in the tournament practice lobby against some tier 4 stuff, right? It's totally fine. So anyway, everybody, as always, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate all of your feedback, all of your support. I hope you are enjoying the mixed content, the analyses, the off the beaten path stuff, like when we did the little review of the art for UMA. I'm going to keep doing more stuff like that here and there. And then, of course, we've got the live footage versus the replays, the tourney practice lobby versus the league. So we're bringing you a little bit of everything. I hope you're continuing to enjoy it. I know a lot of people are all about the leagues, and you know what? So am I. So that's the second half of this week. You'll see a new league start up, and I hope you'll stay tuned to the channel for that. Until then, take it easy. Let me know what you thought about the lines here, the games as always, and I will see you for the next video. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.